This is the introduction for Dee Davis of Davis Consulting Management Group. Dee, I'd love to learn more about how you got where you are today and the story of the process to be here.
Thanks, Brad. Well, like most people in the construction industry, I started with tools in the field. I started swinging a hammer as a carpenter back in the day, and I knew nothing about construction when I started doing carpentry. I learned that I loved it, absolutely loved it. I loved building things with my hands. I loved being outside. And here's the weird thing. I was never good at math. I was that kid that was not good at math. And working with tools, working in the field, working with measuring tapes all day, all of a sudden I got good at math. Much, much better. I would not call myself really good at math, but I got much better at math. It was applied for me. So I knew as soon as I started working in the industry that I was in the place that I was meant to be. I did not have the education to support it. I did not have the theoretical tools in my tool belt. I had my hammer and my measuring tape, but I didn't have any of the leadership tools. I didn't have any of the management tools. I didn't have any of the engineering tools. So I went back to school for mechanical engineering, and it was amazing getting to work in the field during the day and go to school at night. It was a lot of work, but I was able to learn something and then go apply it immediately. So that simultaneous working in the field and going to school was an incredible experience. I remember several aha moments where I was learning about something in class, and then I would get out into the field. The dots are connecting. So that was fantastic. Doing heavy commercial and industrial cogeneration plants and laboratories and hospitals. And I spent many, many years doing that. And at some point I did realize that I work with people. So I went back to school for psychology. All I do all day is work with people and try to figure out how to get people to function in the way that we need them to function on a job site, in a business. And psychology is the root of it, because we have to understand why people do the things they do or why they don't do the things that they don't do, so that we can better understand how to influence change within any organization. And my organization was my job site trailer and my folks in the trailer, my folks in the field. That was my world. It wasn't even so much at the company level, because as anybody who works in the construction field knows, whatever project you're on, that's your world. You're sort of dispatched from the office out to a construction site. These are large sites. We're there for years. So you go out and you're there for 18 months to 5 years on a project, and that's your world. Those people are your world. The office, the mothership, they call once in a while, but for the most part, you're on your own. So learning how to do all of that in psychology was very, very helpful. Currently, I run two companies, Davis Consulting Management Group and Yellowstone Professional Education. Those are my companies. Yellowstone Professional Education is the educational arm of Davis Consulting Management Group. So Davis Consulting Management Group, I started in the early, 2006. I started doing design reviews on the side. I was working for other people, doing design reviews on the side on projects that were not related to anything that I was working on for my employer. And I just really wanted to continue to do that kind of stuff. So as time went on, I built the business and I finally went out on my own. And I've been working on my own since 2014. As self-employed, I started Davis Consulting Management Group, and off we go. And I've got 5 people now all over the country that we work on projects remotely. So we do consulting for owners, contractors, and since my background is mechanical, it's heavy mechanical and organizational consulting. And Yellowstone Professional Education, I go out and I teach sustainability, I teach organizational management, I'm teaching the next generation technical knowledge. Sustainability is huge for me. I have a whole bunch of random education in the background on the resume there for sustainability and how to influence sustainable changes in organizations, how to help people do that kind of stuff. I wrote some papers when I was in college that actually got implemented on that college campus and is now reducing the carbon footprint on that enormous campus to this day, which makes me very, very proud.
Wow. Well, I think based on that amazing background, there are people who are going to want to ask what it was like for you to step away from being an employee, somebody who was going by somebody else's mandate, working on that job site, managing that team, to saying, you know what, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to go out on my own and do this. Well, how did that feel from a risk standpoint? What are the things that you attribute to the success of your company and that choice to step away from being an individual contributor and being somebody who is the manager of their own organization, working under their own brand?
It's a question I get a lot. I have people that have known me for many, many years who knew me back when I was working for other people, and they just go, wow, I can't believe you did that. That's amazing. A lot of people expect you to fail in the first 5 years of consulting because that's the timeline. If you can make it past 5 years of consulting on your own, then you're probably going to be fine. Most people don't make it past 2 or 3 years. So I'm well past that. How many sleepless nights did you have? I had one sleepless night. Having anxiety over, is it going to be enough? Am I going to get enough business? Are people going to hire me? Selling yourself is the hardest thing I've ever done. I don't even like talking about myself, let alone going and selling yourself, because you are the business, particularly when you first start. And that's who you're selling. You're selling you and your expertise and your knowledge and your work ethic and all the things. So I had one sleepless night in the very beginning, and I just thought, I don't know, is this a good idea? My husband has backed me 100% the entire time. He didn't have any doubts. I still have every once in a while, as the market takes its turns and it goes up and it goes down and things get a little jiggy in the market. Construction's had a really slow year in 2024, but I've stayed busy. Thankfully, it's been an amazing experience. You have to be driven. You have to want it. I've been offered many times positions working for various clients. Hey, come work for us. Or do you want to come work for us? What is it going to take to get you to come work for us? And it's very flattering. But I love choosing my projects. I love choosing my clients. I love choosing how I'm going to spend my day, like doing a podcast. I'm not saying I couldn't be doing it if I was working for someone else, but it would be much harder. I love the fact that I can just decide that in 2025, this is how I'm going to spend my time. And I don't have to answer to anybody else for that.
Well, so last question. That's so cool. What does the title Management Under Construction mean to you?
It means that we're always learning, regardless of how you end up in a leadership position, whether you are promoted, appointed, or by default, you should always be learning. And I think the difference in how you and I view that leadership position or management position, regardless of which it really is, you have the responsibility to look inward and continue to ask the question, how can I be better? Too many people look outward and they say, well, I'm here to tell everybody else what to do. That's not your job, actually. It's part of your job, but it's not your job. So it's inward and it's continual growth and continual learning. None of us do this alone. If nobody's following you, you're not a leader. If you don't have anybody to manage, you're not a manager. So none of us does this alone. None of us gets along in our career on our own. We all had hands up and boosts up and help from somebody. I've heard a lot of people say, I don't have any good leadership. Okay, well, if you can't find one, be one.
Right.
Whatever it is. You can't find a good person, be a good person. You can't find a good manager, be a good manager. You can't find a good leader, be a good leader. So that's what management under construction means to me, is it's the continual adventure of learning and growing and asking, what else can I do to be better?
Great answer. That is Dee Davis, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.